Good morning. It is Friday. Yes, it's official. You have made it to the weekend. Congratulations. Boy, I'm going to tell you like this here. I know I almost was late this morning reading some of the comments on Facebook. And that's what gave me the title of today's show. I can feel the heat from here. It is people in Florida that is fired up. When I say sizzling, I mean hotter than the 4th of July. You forgot them good sandals and you got them cheap flip-flops from the 99-cent store hot. So if that tell you anything, that tells you we're going to have one hell of a show today. Hey, we're going to be talking about Florida, and we're going to say last rights over the bill here in the state of South Carolina, because the writing is on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. And this is my suggestion. Pack. If you're a medical cannabis person, pack, because once again the bill is dead on arrival, and I'll tell you more about it. And I also shared an article on my Facebook page. If you don't follow me on Facebook, this might be the time that you want to. We're gonna also publish it in Miss Green Jean's page as well. The author of this article written, it's like he sat down and had a conversation with me, basically, because he put all the truth out there. The truth, ugly as it is, but let's face facts. Is all there for your reading. Hey guys, let's go ahead and get Friday's show off. We're not going to be too gloomy today because, facts is facts. It's raining here in South Carolina, so it means it's going to be wet. People going to be in a bad mood today. Also, y'all know they can't drive here, so please be careful. Grandma, hey, don't think about going out that door after you did that, girl, because it ain't a good one at all. So let's get the show started, shall we? Let's see what we going to start this off with. Yeah, I think we'll start it off with that. We're going to go to a little Jamaica Rhapsody, and then from there, the rest of the show is going to be on fire. Get ready, get set. Welcome to the Wake and Bake Show.
Is this the real leaf? Is this the cannabis? Caught on the dry side, must escape from reality. Just legalize, and I gonna plant my seeds.
I'm just a homeboy. Weed is no luxury.
To be here, to be there, little high,
Very high. Everywhere the weed grows, not all really matters to me. To me. Ganja never killed a man. Put a blunt against his head, light the light, and now he's dead. Ganja, everybody, is a gift from God. So why go and throw it all away? Ganja is meant to make you fly. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, pass it on, pass it on. Save me some for later. Too late, the time has come. Getting legal around the world and improving all the time. Goodbye prohibition, grass has got to grow. Gotta leave ignorance behind and spread the buzz. Ganja. We all wanna fly. This magical herb should be distributed to all. Puff off a spliff.
Purple Kush, will you make me want to go? Smoking all the lights on very, very fast. Roma, Roma, if you go.
I'm just a homeboy, nobody stones me.
He's just a homeboy from a dry neighborhood, sparing his life from this illegality.
Easy plant, easy grow, will you let me grow?
No, we will not let you grow.
Let me grow,
We will not let you grow.
let me grow.
We will not let you grow. We will not let you grow. We will not let you grow. Let me grow. Since let me grow. Hills above, as the devil put aside for me, for me, for me.
So you think you can tell me and spliffs make me high? So you think you can come here and outsmoke the eye? Oh, brethren, pass it on to me, brethren. Just gotta get high, just gotta get high right now. No law really matters. Anyone can smoke. No law really matters. No law really matters to the eye.
And welcome back to the Wake and Bake Show. I'm your host, Miss Green Jeans, and I'm gonna go off the beaten path just for a moment because it ain't often you get to honor somebody more than once. And what I mean by that is this. This just popped up in my newsfeed through the GainesvilleSun.com, and this hits me in a special place because I know this person. Duval Heights native Tony Kemp honored at Florida Relays. I must share this story because I want to say some special congratulations to Kemp. Legendary track and field star Tony Kemp was a decorated Florida Olympic runner and native of Duval Heights in northeast Gainesville, waves and holds back tears as presented the award of UF head coach Mike Holloway, which I also know, during the 2019 Pepsi Florida Relays held at James Presley Stadium in Gainesville Saturday. The 440 race will be known as Tyrone Kemp 400 at Florida Relays. The annual track and field features other athletes from high school and colleges around the country. I went to this many a times during whilst I was in high school in Gainesville at Eastside High School, and I got a chance to watch some great runners in the day. So I'm going to share the rest of this story, then we're going to get back to cannabis at hand. A brief ceremony was held Saturday at the stadium at Percyville Track on the University of Florida campus. Coach Mike Holloway announced the crowd that the collegiate 400-meter race at Pepsi Relays will be known now as the Tyrone Kemp 400-meter race. Kemp, 49, attended the University of Florida from 1988 to 1992 and was running the 400. Also ran the 200 and was part of the 4x100 and 4x100, the 4x400 relay teams. In his Pepsi Relays recorded time of 44.66 seconds, the 400 has been on the books since April 1989. Kemp won the NCAA title in the 400 and 5 SEC championships during his collegiate career, named the MVP of the specialty Melrose Games in 1990. At one time was American indoor collegiate record holder at the 400 and won 8 All-American honors while at UF. Kemp resides in Miami now and diagnosed with Burkitt arteriosclerosis, common known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, on August 6 last year. The disease kills the neurons that control the voluntary muscles. Though his speech is barely gone, close to him understand what he is saying. On the advice from Priscilla Jenkins, a childhood friend and lifelong friend of Kemp, the Guardian communicates with Kemp via texting. Kemp said he ran professionally for a year, sponsored by Nike, Reebok, and Mosa. He's a 1987 graduate from Buchholz High School, where he was coached by Holloway and ran for the Gainesville Stride Youth Track Club. I was faster than all my friends growing up and entering high school when I started competing, Kemp said. Holloway said Kemp was special because his approach to the sport. The biggest thing he ever relayed on passionately was the sports, and once you gave him a chance, he was going to get it done, Holloway said. Well, Kemp, hey man, it's an honor to know about you, know of you, watch you run. And to be able to honor you on my show is one thing, because people don't understand. People like me and you both, we come from some areas that too many people don't make it out and make a success of themselves. Once again, Tyrone Kemp from Duval Heights, I applaud you, my brother. Hey, and this song is for you, man. You know I love to dance, so Dance Off is for you. Congratulations, and hey, all those people that live in Duval Heights, Lincoln Estates, Spring Hill, all them other places, Fifth Avenue, realize you can make anything happen as long as you see the dream and achieve it. We'll be back.
I challenge you to a dance-off. Hands off, no trash talk, no backwalk. On the black top, just me, you, that's all. No cat calls, no tag teams, no mascots. Right now, dance off.
Get down the floor. Get down the floor. Go. Get down the floor. Do it. Come on and get down the floor. Go.
I grab my ankle and pull it up and do that thing where I move my butt. I got the motherfucker, don't use it up. I say, there it is, then loosen my tux and then I shimmy, 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 shimmy to the left. Shimmy, 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 shimmy to the right. Gimme, gimme, gimme everything that you got. Dance off, motherfucker, do the damn thing right. She got loose elbows and a big old neck. I like a big bone girl who can work up a sweat. I rock shell toes and a turtleneck. She just wanna talk, I said I ain't Ted. Dance off. Your grandma, that's a bad mama jammer. She doing the banana, grabbing my trunk like a hammock. She like the funk, goddamn it, she can handle it. She talking my dick, I'm feeling a little bit inadequate. Your grandpa got a cock like a ham hock. Hella old, hella long, looking like Matlock. Damn dog, I don't even wanna have a standoff. He drunk, talking about he about to take his pants off. A hater with a Macarena. I can ride your rabbit in my office space. If you watch my face, looks like I'm concentrated or I'm constipated when I walk this way.
I challenge you to a dance-off. Hands off, no trash talk, no backwalk. On the black top, just me, you, that's all. No cat calls, no tag teams, no mascots. Right now, dance off.
Dance off. Get down the floor. Get down the floor. Go. Get down the floor. Do it. Come on and get down the floor. Rewind. Dance off.
I sneak up behind you like a panther. Who ordered the private dancer? Can I get an amen from the pastor? Hold the O, do you want a back rub? You must heard like Grey Poupon. Swag on tap like Savion. Jump on the tablecloth, bake a fall, pretend to break my arm, then I'm breaking you off. But please don't tell my baby's mom I wanna dance all night to the break of dawn. I wanna sweat, sweat, sweat till your makeup's gone. And baby girl, you looking like a champion. Hey, you pay. Get up out of your chair. Pay $20 to get up in this club. Put your cell phone down, you square. I be going in. I can't help it. I got bruises on my pelts. Ladies, fellas, don't drunk dial your exes.
Hello, bouncer. I have a job for you. While I'm dancing, watch my shoes. Tonight is the night that we rendezvous. Sweat the fountain of youth, bust a move. Fringe jacket, pants of leather, tank top, spandex and pleather. Been a stressful week, I've had a lot of pressure. You have a lot of great moves, but mine are better.
I challenge you to a dance-off. Hands off, no trash talk, no backwalk. On the black top, just me, you, that's all. No cat calls, no tag teams, no mascots. Right now,
And we're back. You're tuned to the Wake and Bake Show. I'm your host, Miss Green Jeans. Like I said, the start of today's show is I can feel a heat from here. And I got to share this interesting post that was posted this morning on one of my favorite sites. And I already gave them warning that I'm finna share their message, so I hope they're tuning in right now. I've learned to temper my message over the past few years, but this week in Tallahassee, the gloves is off, so to speak. Make no mistake, my friends, it's time for action is now. Contact your legislators and lawmakers. Let them know you do not support a 10% cap on THC on a medical cannabis plant here in Florida. Hashtag speak the truth to the power. Hashtag all hands on deck. Hashtag just say no. And I don't mean N-O, I mean K-N-O-W. And also, hashtag intentions matter. Now, with that being said, my dear friend, and also put in comments, this which has been shared 6 times already since it's been posted. It's been posted now exactly 31 minutes. Find your senator and call and email them and tell them you do not support the lawmaker placing limits on THC. Reminder, these are not decisions lawmakers should be making for patients. These decisions need to be made by patients in consultation with their physician. Tell them to step out of the doctor-patient relationship and vote no on a 10% cap on THC. The whole plan. Hashtag it's time to take action. Speak the truth. Hashtag speak the truth to the power and hashtag just say no. Now I'm going to give you the website. It's get ready with your pens and papers, ladies and gentlemen. And you also can do this replay on any one of the platforms this is on. HTTPS little dots backspace www.FL Senate. I'm going to go ahead and spell it out for y'all because I know some of y'all lost. We're going to put it back this way. www.FLSENATE.gov/senators. Senators is with a capital SENARATORS. Now, with that, when you can find your representatives, also you could go to www.floridahouse.gov/sections/representatives/representatives to get that also, okay? Like I said, they hot as hell in Florida, and they have every right to be because they voted over 70% to have medical cannabis. They done just all came overturning a bill that kept you from smoking cannabis in the state of Florida. They just got that approved. Now these assholes in the state of Florida want to say, oh, we can't have it that, oh, we going to limit you to 10%. What the fuck is 10% going to do for anybody? We had this conversation yesterday, but we're going to have it again today because this is important and it needs to be known that lawmakers are doing something. They're taking medicine out the hands of the doctors and the patients and deciding what you need, which is bullshit. And how you attached it was even worse. You attached it to a veteran bill. How dare you? That is about the most lowest thing you can do. Because you knew that's going to be for the veterans. That's how that bill passed in the first damn place. So separate the shit. I'm going to tell you like this now. Politicians don't need to be in my business. They don't need to be in nobody's damn business. What me and my doctor discuss is me and my doctor. Not me, my legislator, and my doctor. I'm going to ask you this. Y'all going to pay my doctor bills? Let's be honest about it. You too busy worrying about how much cannabis I'm using. Personally speaking, are y'all going to pay my medical bills? Really? Because y'all want to mind every damn thing else? Hey, take care of the bills too while you're at it. I'm just being real about it. But y'all seriously do need to call your legislators, call them, tie the phones up, and like I tell my folks here in South Carolina, I got one even better for you. It's called snail mail. And what you do is this. You write your legislature, your senator there in the state of Florida. Go to the post office. Get it certified mail. That way you can ensure they're not blocking you on the phone. They ain't taking the email and just hitting delete. They got to respond to that because somebody got to sign for it and somebody got to respond. So if you really want to go ahead and get their attention, Go ahead and do that certified mail thing. Trust me. They gonna be like, oh, wait a minute. Because somebody got to answer for that. I'm just telling you how to get in there. And believe me, I'm going to be talking about that when I get there on the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th in Gainesville at EndoSesh 2019, because the point of it is this. I'm currently not a resident of the state of Florida, but I am trying to get there as fast as I can. And I do have family there, so this is a huge concern for me. I have family members that need cannabis there, that currently can't get cannabis for one reason or another, probably financial need more than anything else because of the current prices. The prices do need to come down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I know y'all got to make a living, but can y'all have some different, events to make this a little bit more affordable for everybody? That's all I'm saying. Because that's the biggest thing I hear each time I go home, that it's very expensive, which I admit it is. No doubt it is. Trust me, I was in Colorado and I had one there, so I know how expensive they can be. But what I am looking forward to is the opportunity to get to talk to some patients there in the state of Florida and see how they're liking the program and everything, and get the best advice on, so when I get transferred to the state of Florida, who's the best to go through. So we're going to talk about all that and then some while I'm there in the state of Florida. So get ready, Gainesville. Your girl is coming back once again to talk about cannabis, talk about the endocannabinoid system, and talk about your right as a citizen of the state of Florida and what you can do to help to make sure that, stuff like this don't happen. It's nice to sit up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and whatever other social media you're on and voice your opinion, but unless you go to Tallahassee or go to wherever you need to go that they're doing these things, it don't mean nothing. That's just the truth. And I know they're talking about, well, Miss Green, you don't go everywhere because I can't afford to. Because when I could afford to and when I had the money, I was everywhere. I was everywhere I could be, and there's some. So the only way I can do it now is from my computer. Because I just don't have it. That shit costs money. It costs money to travel. It costs money to speak. It costs money to do anything and everything as of now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to see who's on the phone. You're tuned to the Wake and Bake Show.
Look, my bitch is all bad, my niggas all real. I ride in dick in some big tall hills, big fat checks, big large bills, run out flip like 10 car wheels. Cold ass bitch, I give raw chills, 10 different looks, and my looks so kill. I kiss him in the mouth, I feel all grills, heat in the car, that smells on wheels. Woo! I was born to flex, yes. Diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex, but nothing in this world that I like more than checks. Money. All I really wanna see is the money. I don't really need a D, I need the money. All a bad bitch need is the money. I got bands in the coop, bustin' out the roof. I got bands in the coop. Touch me, I'll shoot. Bow, shake a little ass. Money. You get a little bag and take it to the store. Money. Get a little cash. Money. You shake it real fast, you get a little more. I got bands in the coop, bustin' out the roof. I got bands in the coop, bustin' out the roof. I gotta fly, I need a jet. Shit, I need room for my legs. I got a baby, I need some money. Yeah, I need teeth for my egg. All y'all bitches in trouble. Bring brass knuckles to scuffle. I heard that Cardi went pop. Yeah, I did go pop. Pop. That's me busting that bubble. I'm the Sonny with the drip. Baby mommy with the clip. Walk out bodies with a bitch. Bring a thotty to the whip. Is she fine or she thick? God damn, walking past the mirror. Ooh, damn, I'm fine. Let a bitch try me. Boom, hammer time. Born to flex, yes. Diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex, but nothing in this world that I like more than checks. Money. All I really wanna see is the money. I don't really need a D, I need the money. All a bad bitch need is the money. I got bands in the coop, bustin' out the roof. I got bands in the coop. Touch me, I'll shoot. Bow, shake a little ass. Money. You get a little bag and take it to the store. Money. Get a little cash. Money. You shake it real fast, you get a little more. I got bands in the coop, bustin' out the roof. I got bands in the coop. Touch me, I'll shoot. Bitch, oh, pop, you pop. Bitch, truck, pop it, whoever. You know who pop the most shit? The people who shit not together. You the big cardio freak. All my pajamas is leather. Bitch, I will black on your ass. Wakanda forever. Sweet like a honey bun, spit like a Tommy gun. Roll in one-on-one. Come get your mommy some Cardi at the tip top, bitch. Kiss the ring and kick rock, sis. Jump it down, back it up. Ooh, ayy. Make that nigga put the 2K. I like my niggas dark like say. He gonna eat this ass like soup. I was born to flex. Diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets. I like more than sex. But nothing in this world that I like more than culture. All I really wanna see is the money. I don't really need a D, I need the money. All a bad bitch need is a KC. Money. 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 Money.
And we're back. You're in tune to the Wake and Bake Show. I'm your host, Miss Green Jeans. Hey, caller, tell them who you are and where you calling from.
My name is Josephine Canella Crail. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm located in the Tallahassee area, and I do a lot of cannabis education and legislative advocacy work.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this here. When I seen your article this morning on one of the sites there, one of my favorite sites on Facebook, it got me fired back up again. And I mean, really, I talked about this intensely yesterday, but what I want you to do is tell the people what got your goat about this current situation in Florida.
So, to me, what I see happening is really the legislature is launching a full-on attack on smoking. On March the 21st, just about a week ago, the governor signed our smoking bill into law. So he put out a mandate telling the legislature he wanted, within the first week of legislative session, he wanted a smoking bill on his desk because he wanted to uphold the will of 71.3% of Floridians who voted for medical cannabis to include smoking. So the bill gets signed into law, and less than a week and a half after that goes into law, the legislature put forward a proposed committee bill that will now limit the cap of THC in all dried leaves and flowers of the cannabis plant. So, in essence, what they did was they gave patients the right to smoke, and then they told them, but you only can have access to the whole plant with 10% THC or less. Now, there are so many disturbing parts, but one of the disturbing parts is also in this law, or this proposed law, is a provision to give veterans free ID cards. So the state is saying if you're a veteran, they'll waive the $75 fee to apply for a medical cannabis ID card through the Department of Health. You know, to me, this is kind of using veterans as bargaining chips to pass a bad medical cannabis law. And, I mean, first of all, that is completely unacceptable. Now, the other thing that I find extremely disturbing about this is when the Senate passed that smoking bill on the floor of the Senate the first week of March, our senators actually stood on the floor and said, you know, I don't have the exact words, but something to the respect of, we're glad, or we're happy that we've followed through with our commitment to Kathy Jordan. And Kathy Jordan is one of the longest living ALS patients. She's been living with ALS for over 30 years. And if anybody knows anything about Lou Gehrig's disease, that is virtually unheard of.
That is correct.
Most patients diagnosed with ALS die within the first, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of their diagnosis.
Kathy done outlived her doctor, from what I understand.
She's outlived a couple of her doctors. So I kind of had a thought back to that passionate speech that our senator made on the floor of the Senate invoking Kathy Jordan's name. And I reached out to a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Greg Gerdeman, who is the Chief Scientific Officer of Three Boys Farm, because Three Boys Farm actually grows Kathy's choice, Kathy's medicine. And I asked him, what's the THC limit? What's the THC content in Kathy's choice? Is it over 10%? And he told me yes, that Kathy's choice consistently tests over 10%. So in essence, now what our lawmakers are proposing is they gave Kathy Jordan and all Floridians the right to smokable cannabis. They invoked Kathy Jordan's name on the Senate floor when they passed the bill. And now the House is proposing that we take that right away from Kathy to use her medicine as a non-criminal. Because the medicine that she needs has over 10% cap on THC. So they give it to her, and then within a month, they're proposing that they take it away from her, making her a criminal again, and basically making all Florida patients who want to access the whole plant over 10% criminal.
We're not letting that go down like that. I was already mad about how they backdoored the veterans. Now I'm really pissed off how they did Kathy.
But we're not done yet. Because they also want to add a provision where children under the age of 21 will have to have, so already for a child to be recommended medical cannabis, you have to have not one physician, but two physicians.
Oh my God.
One, a medical cannabis doctor, because that's needed for a certification, right? And then a specialist that treats the child for their particular condition. Well, now what this proposed bill also does is they're saying that second physician has to be a pediatrician. Well, seriously, chronically ill and terminally ill children, oftentimes they don't see a pediatrician. They see a specialist for whatever their condition is. If they have cancer, they might see an oncologist or a radiologist. If they have seizures, they may see a neurologist. So, in essence, what this provision will also do is make it more difficult for children to have access to a life-saving medication, because now, if they don't have a pediatrician as part of their care team, they will have to seek out a pediatrician. And if they don't have a relationship already established with this pediatrician, I mean, what pediatrician is just going to come out and say, without really knowing a child's history or having treated that child, yes, I believe this child should have medical cannabis. It's hard enough to get some of the specialists to understand, because the endocannabinoid system and cannabis as a therapeutic agent still is not taught in medical school. So many of our physicians, patients are educating them.
That's correct.
So this provision, I mean, this proposed law, this proposed bill, just hurts patients in every direction.
Yes, it does.
And the ludicrous thing about it is they only are proposing a 10% THC cap on the whole plant. Now, we have concentrate in the state of Florida. We have shatter, wax, crumble. We have concentrated THC products in the 80% range.
Mm-hmm.
So if our lawmakers were really concerned about the public health risks of THC, they would not be singling out the whole flower, the whole plant. They would be saying, we think THC is dangerous. We want to put a cap on all THC, which of course is equally as ludicrous.
Yep.
But in the way that I see it, I don't see them coming out against THC. I see their hand was forced by the governor to pass a smoking bill. They didn't like being forced, and so now this is the way that they're kind of, sticking it to the governor even. Like, you forced us to do this, and we didn't want to, so now we passed what you said, but we're also going to pass provisions which basically makes the smoking law that we already passed null and void. Because what's the sense of giving people access to smoking if you're not going to give them access to the flower cannabinoid levels that they need to reduce their suffering?
This is a money grab, pushing products, because we both know it costs more to make those other products that you just talked about. Way more money. And this is about money more than anything else. I mean, you're right about them taking a swipe at the governor, true. But how I see this is they're trying to push these other products because, naturally most people over the age of 50 is going to prefer flower because they're scared to try something new. That's just known fact. And they're counting on all this, but at the same time for them to hurt Kathy like that, I'm not happy about that.
If you understand the product availability in the state of Florida, if you understand how cannabis works as a therapeutic agent, you understand that the whole plant is exceedingly safe.
Right.
And it has great efficacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, to make a higher THC concentrate available and to limit access to the plant, which has an extraordinarily high safety profile, it's arbitrary and it is capricious. This is based on personal whim.
Yep.
This is not based in reason. This is not based in anything.
You're right.
Because again, if the THC was truly their concern, they would be trying to limit the THC in all of the products.
That is correct.
And they're not.
You're so right. You are so right. And
so, and quite frankly, it's a little aggravating to me because my main focus was increasing access and removing barriers for our elders in assisted living facilities. Mm-hmm. I was hoping to have the caregiver definition expanded.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this since you said that. I don't know what's the current standing there right now for people that's in those places. They haven't changed anything about seniors using cannabis in, say, for instance, like assisted living homes or retirement communities, because I'm in that age group. and I'm looking at relocating, and that's something that's important to me because I don't want to be in a community that won't let me use my medical cannabis.
So, if an assisted living facility is a private pay and it doesn't receive any federal funds, then some of them have started opening the idea of having their residents use medical cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
But the kicker really comes in when we're talking about like our memory care elders or elders assistants administering their medication.
Okay.
Because under current law, we have a provision that says only a patient or their caregiver is allowed to be in possession of the medication at any time, right?
Right.
So what that means is that these facilities, they can't store an elder's medical cannabis with the rest of their medication because only a patient or their caregiver can be in possession. So the nurses can't keep their medical cannabis with all of their other medications. And I work in assisted living facilities providing psychotherapy to our elders. And some of these folks are on 8, 9, 10, a dozen combinations of medications. So the nurses can keep all of their other medications. They can make their rounds and they can administer all of their other medications, but they can't keep their medical cannabis.
Isn't it some way, now this is just me thinking outside the box a little bit, and say for instance if I had a family member that was in that situation, couldn't they at least keep a lock box in their room possibly that has a lock and key?
So first of all, I've opened that conversation, and it's a risk and I'm sure that some facilities will consider that, but they still see that as a risk, especially for memory care patients, because if there's a lockbox, then, what if somebody else gets the key? What if somebody else gets into it? And then the biggest barrier is to expect. I mean, most of the time, who are you going to designate as your caregiver that's going to pay $75 to the state to get a caregiver card and come and give you medicine? Your family. So how realistic is it to expect an adult son or daughter who likely are still taking care of their own children and are working to come to a facility to administer the medical cannabis to their mother or father or grandparent 3, 4, 5 times a day?
That's very
unrealistic.
unrealistic.
It's totally unrealistic. Even the most devoted, loving daughter or son would have a hard time. They may have the commitment to do it, but the reality of life is going to get in the way.
That is so true.
So there are so many changes that need to be made to this law, and I was really, really hoping that this year, I could focus on just tweaking that little caregiver language, expanding it, trying to make it easier. But then they throw this THC cap at us, and then all of our efforts, get directed towards stopping that, because whereas my heart is with our elders, it's also with the over 200,000 patients that we currently have registered. And we have to be the voice for the voiceless. Not everybody understands the legislative process, and not everybody even knows what the heck is going on up there. It's really a minority that can get up to Tallahassee and can show up and speak truth to power. But, what folks can do is they can go, Google the Florida Senate. It will come up. There will be a link that says your senators. Google the Florida House of Representatives. There will be a link that says find your representative and call them. Go visit them in their district offices. They still have staff in the district offices. You can go in, even if your senator's in Tallahassee. Somebody's going to be there to take your message. If you can't get to the office, call them. They record all the responses. They have to write them down. Besides calling them, flood their email. Let them know we do not support a cap on our medicine. These are decisions that lawmakers are not even qualified to make.
That is so true.
I mean, we have a handful of doctors who are lawmakers. Yes, I'll attest to that. But lawmakers are not trained medical professionals, and even our doctors, they don't receive this endocannabinoid system training in medical school. They don't have the knowledge base. They don't understand the science of how cannabis is a therapeutic agent. They should not be making medical decisions. Those decisions should be between a patient in consultation with their physician, and hopefully they have family there as well to support. That's who needs to make decisions on what the best source of therapy is for a person. Not some lawmaker who doesn't know anything about you, your medical conditions, your medical history, what you have already tried, what has already failed, and now that you've found relief in cannabis, what their priority should be is to stop making people criminals. Cannabis consumers do not want to break the law. They break the law because that's what they have to do to access what they need. So they really need to have a shift, because the perspective that our lawmakers are coming from right now is marijuana is a dangerous drug that we have to keep our people safe from. The perspective that they need to be coming from, because I want to remind everybody, this is now a state legal medical treatment option. The perspective they need to be coming from is cannabis is an incredibly safe and effective medical treatment, and we want to support research that is going to show what the benefits are. Let's do research on what are the particular cultivars that help with a patient's condition. What cultivars, what cannabinoid levels help people with ALS? What specific cultivars can help our elders with Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, all of these other age-related disorders? What cannabinoid profiles will help our suffering children? I have a friend who they cut the child's brain open because she was having seizures. And that surgery left that child with functional deficits. She couldn't walk anymore. She couldn't feed herself. She couldn't toilet herself anymore. And that was a perfectly accepted treatment option. But that mom, if she tried to use cannabis before they let them cut her little child, 5 years old, brain open, she could have been arrested. What is that? How is that reducing the harm? If their concern is public health and safety, do you think that child benefited from having a piece of her brain cut out treating her with functional deficit. Oh, and by the way, it didn't work. She still had seizures.
Oh, God.
Before they let this mom try a plant, I mean, you know, when you're the one who's sitting across from people, when you're the one who's sitting next to them, holding their hands, hearing these terrible stories, these families who will do anything to help their loved ones, but they have to also now be afraid of breaking the law. These patients who are going to have to remain criminals and go to an illegal market to get what they need, it's unacceptable. It's not reducing harm. It's not in the interest of public safety.
No,
The biggest risk Florida patients have today from being a medical cannabis patient is the risk of arrest. Because they're trying to do it legally, and the state keeps putting roadblocks in their way.
Yep, and this is my advice that I give to a lot of people on that note, is this. Besides everything that you mentioned, I throw another wrinkle in the program. It's called snail mail, and it's called certified mail. Send that mail to your legislator or your representative. Also, the fact is this, what they're not looking at as well, on top of everything else that's going on. I currently live in a state where cannabis, once again, is going to fail here in South Carolina. The bill is pretty much dead in the water. If it did pass the House and the Senate, it's got to get past the governor's desk, and he's not going to sign it. And for all those people are looking at this, they're looking for other alternatives. And, you know, people like myself, this is the 5th year. I can't go on like this. I have 2 total knee replacements, and I suffer from PTS. So, yeah, we're looking at the state of Florida. They're not thinking about this influx of people that's going to be coming from these other states like South Carolina, and that's what's even more disturbing.
Yeah, really what we need is a uniform cannabis policy across the country. You know, it's great that we have state rights, right, because it is allowing us to move this forward. We have 33 states plus the District of Columbia to allow some kind of medical cannabis law. You know, we've reached maximum capacity. We're over 50%. These guys just, you know, our dear friend Chad Burton has a beautiful saying. He says, lead ahead or get out of my way.
There you go.
And that's what we want from our lawmakers. Either lead us ahead or step out of the way. We got this. We know what we're talking about. We're not a bunch of uneducated, lazy stoners the way that the media loves to portray cannabis consumers. Cannabis consumers are highly educated. They understand how cannabis works. Many of them understand the science of cannabis much better than our medical professionals do. It's time that they welcome us to the table and listen to our stories, not listen and dismiss us the way they do. Oh, thank you for your testimony, ma'am. You can sit down now. But hear what we're saying, not just with your ears, but with their heart and with their mind. Because I'll tell you what, if this was just about a bunch of people wanting to smoke pot, well, that's been happening for thousands of years.
Exactly.
And so it's not the impetus. It's not just because a bunch of people want to sit around getting high. It's because this helps people. And even people who don't have medical cannabis cards, many people who don't even realize that they use cannabis therapeutically. If you come home at the end of the day and you get all of your affairs settled and moms tuck their little ones into bed at night and then they want to sit on the couch and light up to help them relax, well, how is that any different than somebody who comes home and pours a bourbon and sits on their couch to take the edge off?
That is so true.
And as a matter of fact, it's much less dangerous.
It is.
I even heard Woody Harrelson, the actor Woody Harrelson, say, if my dad smoked pot instead of being an alcoholic, he probably wouldn't have beat the shit out of me every night.
That is so true. That is
So, you know, there are other perspectives other than our own, and I try to open my mind and listen to other people who tell me, you know, this is dangerous. And I ask them, why? Why do you think this is dangerous? Why do you think this is illegal? And engage them in the conversation and not try to force my opinion down their throat, but just say, you know, I hear everything you're saying, but I'd like you to consider this perspective. You know, and just tell them the story like a mom who wants to light up instead of drinking a bottle of wine with her friends. Because guess what? If she went out and drank a bottle of wine with her friends and came home all tipsy and drunk, her family would likely think it's a big joke. Oh, look, Mom had a girls' night out. Now she's all tipsy. Oh, that's so funny. And yet, if somebody uses cannabis as an anxiety reliever or to manage their stress, they're a stoner and lazy, it doesn't hold water anymore.
Nope.
It just doesn't.
No, it does not. And I'm so glad we live in a time of those days. So we got to go ahead and end the show. Anytime you want to call back, you have my number. Any other movement on this bill, or any other bills, you have my number. Please, please, please call us back and keep us informed.
Right on, and you keep me informed. I'll come to South Carolina. You know, my goal is to educate allied healthcare professionals. I know you guys have social workers and licensed mental health therapists and case managers, nurses. I'm happy to travel, and I will speak truth to power in any state.
You got it, girl. You got it. One
All
more
right,
tool
well,
in the
thank you.
toolbox.
Thank you
so
for
very
having
much.
me with you this morning. I really appreciate it. And thanks for letting me rant. I feel a little better now that I've gotten it all off my chest.
I'm glad you did. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Rosemary. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, you got it from the state of Florida. Right from Tallahassee. This young lady goes, and every chance she gets an opportunity to go and talk to these people, talk to the patients, and she works with the patients down there in Florida. So you can't get no fresher than that. Hey, I know my show ran a little over today. I know I didn't do a lot of things I wanted to do, but this is important. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all rights in the state of Florida are being attacked, and you got the roadmap on how to do it, okay? So with that in mind, have a great Friday. I got one question for you. Are you awake yet? If you're not, tune in again Monday morning, bright and early at 8 a.m., and I will wake your ass up again to knowledge, music, and so much more. This is Miss Green Jeans. Hey, Michelle, SOS. We smoked you one, son. We're out of here.